So, um, we all want to go to heaven, right? From my understanding, that's the ultimate reason why so many religions and so much ideas of faith and who God is. It's because we all want to be closest to Him, because supposedly heaven is a place, the best place ever, where all that is good will happen. It's like the opposite of Murphy's law, where anything that could happens, and usually in this physical realm would be things we wouldn't consider good that you will feel physically. Um, so in reading much research, I have realized that the closest place or closest way you can get to heaven, which heaven is actually a state. It's not a physical place, because if it was a physical place, then why would we call it the spirit realm? Um, Heaven is the certain frequency that is very high, what we would consider highest in this, possibly the first 7 to 9 realms, where we still are connected to physicality in a way. Um, the highest frequency is where you actually have the experience or knowledge of all the other frequencies below. Um, Unfortunately, the most effective way to get to that high frequency is to go through this and surpass them each time. Uh, the time you conquer that level and become of higher thinking than that situation that you're in, you level up to the next one, which will come with its challenges also. Uh, but and we all go through this chain in different speeds, but nevertheless, we all in this chain. If we're gonna take matter as the more it develops, or the more solid it is, the less the more the particles that make up you are moving and having freedom to, dance and sing beautiful things which make your heart flatter, or beats in a rhythm that doesn't say there is any pressure or immediate death pending, or war that will keep you in a state of anxiety instead of in a state of bliss, because um, we can put ourselves in hell while we are just sitting in a chair in our house or room. You would put yourself in a state where you physically feel the fear from what you have just thought, or you just put yourself in by memory something that happened in the past, or by anticipating the future, something that you think would happen in the future, and we move our states to that outcome that we have predicted or that has happened, and we relive it at that point with our physical bodies, at that wherever we are. So in that way, we have kind of put ourselves in hell, in a certain level of hell. uh, Depends on how much torture you put yourself under that time or in that experience. When there's just a lot, it is too much created, too much matter, too much uh, 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 opinions, or things to worry about, where you actually forget your inner self. As within, so is without. We concentrate so much on the way up without reacting to what has already been created, that it's like we are working like monkeys. I don't know if that phrase is only in Zulu or it's also in English. Sibens where you actually doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. Yeah, and Einstein also had a quote that says that stupidity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. However, we are not at the level of awareness and attention to what we are doing to actually see from that high point that this is actually the same thing that is happening. I wait for an effect and then I try to fix the effect uh, 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 with only the knowledge of the surface that I have here. It's like putting a band-aid on a wound. Yes, you'll feel better at time because you don't see it, and you're drinking some pain medication, or um you have like a nice ointment there to make you feel better. If the infection inside is not treated, if attention is not put there, it will fester. And when by the time it comes to physicality, you see what's happening, the damage is already done. It's bad nowadays, which could result in amputations in that example. Okay, let's come back. The closest way or best way I believe that you can get to heaven is through the breath. You're breathing. You're going back to basics, like basics. Let's think about this. The only thing in this physical realm or earth, our planet, in according to its conditions, water, apparently you can survive without it about 7 days a week. Food, even 40 days, has been proven by people who can fast um, up to that time. But 6 minutes, you don't get to the seventh minute. If the body is deprived of oxygen for just 6 minutes, plus minus, you're dead. You're gone. If your heart is still pumping, your brain is gone still, your brain dead. So anything that can give a signal to your machine, that is the body, on what to do to continue being alive is gone, shut down. Just by the lack of the brain. So if God is the most important thing in our lives, then He'll be closest to that. A something we cannot live without, even for just 6 minutes. Omnipotent. Then I would think that in trying to fix our health care, which keeps deteriorating, is like a lot of diseases that keep on being added and being studied and all of that, and which results in medications being made for it, which are also chemicals, which are made by humans that could have human error, not intentionally, but it will happen. Even in DNA, mutations happen, but there's necessary ones and unnecessary ones, or positive ones that become a source of evolution, and there are negative ones that completely destroy whatever was being tried to made, or that would like put someone in like a paralyzed or trying to think of a ethically correct term. Disabled, where where it actually takes out a certain ability from that human being who could do everything before taking that medication, just to because they were trying to heal whatever went wrong in that certain parts of the body, then it affects another. Yes, uh, the companies that make it, they try by all means to make sure that these instances are as little as possible, where benefits outweighs risk. However, if there is a way that completely takes away that, that takes away the risk of those adverse reactions, and it is accessible to all, where it doesn't um, have a problem of where there has to be measures put in place now so that people who are poor, because there's rich and poor and can also afford these treatments. Why don't we go back to the bread? Why don't we study the bread and have facilities that make people remember the bread and the right ways of breathing to get as much as we can from that source of life, basically, which will then regulate our hearts, um, regulates the maybe even the speed of our neurotransmitters, or neurons are firing neurotransmitters, which decreases also anxiety and in a state of um, being in unrelaxed relaxed states, which would then trigger the endocrine, which now will take out um, certain hormones that basically tell you that you are in a horrible state and you are basically at war while you're just sitting on your bed. Breathe. How? Why have we forgotten the most basic thing that we all know we cannot live without? So now I am going into studying the breath, and the more I learn something, you, my family, I will surely come back and try to explain it to the best of my ability as we grow spiritually together. Ciao.